Lilium recently announced its intention to list on the Nasdaq through a merger with Qell Acquisition Corp. And revealed the development of its 7-seater electric vertical takeoff and landing jet. Whether you're interested in potentially buying this stock, or just want to learn more about the company for its future vision or involvement with Palantir, by popular request, I'm going to break down what Lilium is all about. In this video, I'll discuss the product, business model, investors, team, and competition. Then something at the very end about PLTR specifically. Let's go. The product. Here we are on the company fact sheet, released March 30th, 2021. Lilium's 7-seater jet carries 6 passengers and 1 pilot, and it uses proprietary duct electric ventured thrust technology. It's powered by 36 low-noise electric ducted turbofan engines with a cruise speed of 175 miles per hour and a range of over 155, but that is actually including reserves. And the sound footprint is inaudible during cruise from the ground, and it has the ability to scale without a significant increase in sound. It is also CRI A01 certified from the EASA, and they're targeting a commercial launch in 2024 and operating in multiple regions by 2025. And this is an eVTOL, the kind that Elon Musk wants to do so bad, but his brain will overload given his current responsibilities. The difference here is that Musk wants to do a supersonic eVTOL. He's been thinking about it for a very long time, but emphasizes that it's a very hard problem to solve. Lilium is going for a business jet format with the convenience of a car, they say, and they're also packing 210 cubic feet of cargo. It claims to have proprietary technology at the core of its platform, with major advantages over competitors that choose open propeller eVTOL platforms, being lower noise and lower vibration, along with being able to have a larger aircraft that actually holds more payload, and it's a more scalable solution in their words. And here is a 7-seater rendered next to a 16-seater, and it's important to stress that these are both graphic concepts. That's the problem with a lot of these SPAC slide deck pitches. They're trying to sell the stock and aren't worried about potentially misleading investors. That's why it's necessary to focus on what is reality and what is something way far out. Here is Lilium touting its low noise takeoff, which offers access to more landing sites and higher network density, saying again that its flight is inaudible during cruise from the ground, with 5x lower noise footprint in hover flight than open propeller eVTOLs. And again, this is in reference to the competitors, which I will get to shortly. Lilium is using advanced battery cell technology and says it has secured supply with exclusivity for the eVTOL market. Why would that be important? Well, we know batteries of all kinds are in very tight supply, and if you don't build your own, you are reliant on the ability and constraints of others to do it for you. So it's good to hear that they at least have a plan when it comes to acquiring battery cell supply. I'm not going to go through every bullet point here, but I do want to double click on the fact that Lilium will be using silicon anode lithium ion pouch battery cells in desire of a density of greater than 330 watt hours per kilogram. They also say that the battery cell technology is still under development and the design is not yet finalized. I bring this up because Tesla's Model 3 battery has a density of around 250 watt hours per kilogram, and Musk has said previously that a jet would need around 400 watt hours per kilogram at a minimum, perhaps even 500 for desirable performance. Now, I know Lilium is not ready to launch its product this year or anything, but it's important to stress that Musk thinks it'll be a few years before he can make his VTOL supersonic jet, simply because of the fact that the battery technology is not yet ready. So what do you think? Will there be good enough battery supply and cell density for a viable product in the given time frame? And finally, Lilium stresses the safety of its energy storage system being both innovative and safe. It's good to see that they're thinking this through. The business model. These are all of Lilium's numbers, so take them as such. Total addressable market of between $1.5 and $3 trillion by 2040, and the Lilium branded passenger mobility network and turnkey enterprise solution are the major markets here, as well as leasing aircraft to corporate and government customers. They have a projected 1,000 jets in operation by 2027, with 30,000 tickets sold per jet per year, and a projected $5 million in revenue per jet per year, and targeting profitability by the end of the year 2020. 2025. I have no clue how they could be targeting profitability like that. But anyways, Lilium highlights the potential to provide access to multiple profit pools, passengers, governments, enterprise mobility, and cargo transport. They say its capital light model allows it to deliver quality and scale in operations, and its digital first platform connects customers as well as aircraft and ground operations. It appears to me that these are also concepts, as they look quite poorly photoshopped in, but I could see how Palantir and its technology platforms would fit in at this stage of the digital side of things. They're projecting that one jet could generate greater than $15,000 in revenue per day with a jet unit cost of $2.5 million, and that would be a network payback period of around 2 years. So let's talk about the networks. For Florida, they've received $200 million in commitments to develop the Florida network from infrastructure partners including Ferrovial and the Tavistock Development Company. They have a planned network of up to 14 sites, that's 1,200 miles of connectivity, and a planned annual revenue of $600 million from about 125 jets. In Germany, they have an agreement with 2 of the local airports there, and that comes to a projected annual revenue of $900 million from about 190 jets. So let's talk about the investors. I dug into this in the last video as well, but they've done a pipe of $450 million for the SPAC merger, including investments from Bailey Gifford, BlackRock, Tencent Holdings, PIMCO, in addition to Palantir, which I discussed last time, and more investors. Tencent is among the world's top technology companies. Bailey Gifford is one of the UK's best performing funds and a major investor in Tesla and Amazon, and Atomico is among Europe's leading and largest early stage investors. Then we also have LGT, a pioneering global impact investor. But the reason I wanted to add this section was to venture a thought that ARKX could add this SPAC in the future. After all, they are open to buying SPACs, and I think ARK's newest fund would be the perfect place for Qell. Perhaps if ARK is able to get behind the scenes and verify this business, it'll pick up some shares. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. The team has about 400 engineers with a combined 4,000 years of aerospace experience, and this team has developed and delivered some of the most successful and complex aircraft in aviation history, such as some traditional Airbus airliners and even fighter VTOLs. They do even have some good entrepreneurial experience with some backgrounds in cruise, Google, Uber, and more. The competition. This is the Lilium jet.
Taking off in 3, 2, 1.
And here is another approach from a competitor, Joby.
Ground bridge, you will be spinning forward flight.
And finally, here is Archer Aviation.
And leading one of the startups in the eVTOL space, Archer, is announcing that it is going to be going public through a SPAC that is being backed by United Airlines, Stellantis, that is the Peugeot Fiat Chrysler company that just merged. This is a company that is developing eVTOL aircraft with delivery starting in 2024. Just a reminder again, eVTOLs, basically you're looking at urban air mobility aircraft. Can carry up to 4 passengers. They are piloted. It's not like it's autonomous at this point. United ordering 200 of these from Archer with an expected range of up to 60 miles. So think about being in downtown New York and then zipping out to LaGuardia. Here are the co-CEOs of Archer talking with us yesterday.
We want this to be a really affordable means for a mass market transportation solution. We believe our entry point into the market will be around $3 per passenger mile.
It's really pretty incredible to think about how big this market can be. The partnership with United really gives us a chance to get to market first and really helps us accelerate our timeline.
From my research, those seem to be the top 3. ARK Invest holds shares in Joby under the SPAC ticker RPT. We'll see if they add the others at some point in the future or if they just stick to Joby. Conclusion. As for me, I won't be buying any of these SPACs, or at least I don't plan to in the near future. I remain interested in the connection between Lilium and Palantir, but I have exposure to that through the ownership of PLTR stock. I just personally think we are way too far out to make a call on which, if any of these companies could be a player in the future of an eVTOL taxi network, and frankly I think Tesla could take over in a few years if they choose to enter the market. But just for some extra due diligence for those of you still watching, remember my video on Palantir versus Google. Palantir stepped up to fill the void left behind in 2019 after Google abandoned Project Maven over ethical concerns. Project Maven, of course, being the Pentagon program to build an AI-powered surveillance platform for unmanned aerial vehicles. Essentially, the job is to build a system for the US military to develop and monitor autonomous drones. Could Palantir be working with Lilium to develop the autonomous side of this aviation, or even helping them specifically on that side of their business? Drop a like if you think so. I'll keep looking into this. Will you be buying any of the aforementioned tickers? Leave a comment. Until next time.